Good morning. My name is Cam Scales. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your pulpit host today. Surprise. On behalf of this congregation, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Native tribes. Whether you have joined us online or you are here in the sanctuary, we're very glad to have you with us in this sacred time we choose to be together. Our congregation is served by our minister, the Reverend Jamie Simon, who is available for pastoral care or to answer questions about Unitarian Universalism. She may be reached at minister@uuch.org. If you are a newcomer, please sign our guest book in the foyer and to receive our weekly newsletter. The email newsletter. Please also take a moment to silence your electronic devices, but don't silence yourself or the people around you. The joyful or not so joyful noises of children and adults are always welcome here. If you have a joy, sorrow, or important milestone that you would like shared during our circle of candles and included in the pastoral prayer, please write it on one of the white cards like this in the hymnal rack in front of you and place it in the offering basket. For community news and events, check our email newsletter, website, and the announcements section in your order of service. This morning we have one additional announcement from the Social Justice Committee. Summer is here and kids are home. We have a great need for you to sign up to fill the little food pantry. The sign-up genius is in the weekly newsletter. The first page where it says volunteer, that's where you click. Also, thank you to all who have brought in food weekly for the indoor food collection boxes. After the service, everyone is welcome to join us in the fellowship hall over here for coffee and snacks. Now, I would like to invite Lorelei to come up and ring the singing bowl to help us enter into the service more deeply. Here she comes. And finally, having gathered in a shared quest for truth, meaning, and purpose, let us light our chalice this morning with these words adapted by Paul Stephen Dodenhoff. For this precious moment, Spirit of life, may we let go. May we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. And only for 1 second, then 1 minute, then 1 hour, and then 1 day, let the flame of this chalice burn in our hearts and minds and light our way to peace and serenity. And now, to help center yourself and quiet your mind, we will have our music for centering, followed by our thread song, which is in your order of service.
Good morning, friends. Welcome in. My name is Reverend Jamie Simon. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and it is my privilege each week to welcome you here to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville. Thank you for coming out to join us on this particularly rainy, gloomy Memorial Day weekend. Gosh, I'm glad to see you with us this morning. It might be gray and sad outside, but it is going to be joyful in here, and I'm glad to have you with us. As we begin, I invite you to center yourself once more with these words from my colleague, the Reverend Tess Bomberger, who beckons us into worship this morning. We gather as a community of spiritual seekers, always ready to awaken each other's curiosity. In this beautiful, challenging, and complex world, may we enter our worship today with open minds, warm hearts, and spirits entranced with possibility of healing, of hope, of transformation, and of justice. In that spirit, may we worship this morning. And now, will you rise with me in body or rise in spirit and sing with me number 301 in the gray hymnal? It's called Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Please rise and sing with me. Friends, it is our tradition as we finish our first hymn to remain risen so that we can sing our doxology. We sing it in English and in Spanish. It's on that blue card. And speak our words of aspiration. And when we get there, we turn toward the center aisle, make a connection with someone nearby, and speak these words as words of promise in community. Let's sing. May love be the spirit spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. You may be seated. And now I'd like to invite forward our youngest friends for our story for all ages. Good morning. I'm so glad to see you with us this morning. So today, normally it would be me and Jess and Lori, but actually I don't see Jess here or Lori here. I think I see Carl and Cupcake. And we have a story for you this morning. Once upon a time, there was a golden retriever named Carl, and he was a very good boy.
I am. I'm a good boy. And ever since I was a pup, my mom taught me the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Whenever I didn't know how to treat my siblings in my litter, I would just think about how I wanted to be treated, and then I would do that.
And Carl, he was friends with a Persian cat named Cupcake, and she tolerated him as cats do.
Carl, what are you doing today while our food givers are at work?
Today is Random Acts of Kindness Day, and I'm going to do randomly kind things for all of our roommates.
That sounds interesting. Who are you going to start with?
I'm going to give Jeannie one of my bones.
You're going to give Jeannie one of your bones.
Yeah, the rabbit. Bones are my favorite treat, and she's gonna love it.
And off went Cupcake before she could say another word.
Dogs.
Sometime later, Carl came back dejected.
What's wrong, Carl?
Jeannie didn't like my bone at all.
I wonder why.
She even thumped her feet at me. She was so mad. It's a great mystery. I guess she's just in a bad mood. I always love bones.
Maybe treats aren't the best vehicle for cross-species bonding?
Maybe you're right. I'll try a toy next. I'm going to give Scales my very best tennis ball. It's going to be hard to part with it since I love it so much, but it would be worth it to make Scales happy.
Scales. The snake?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to run and play with Scales. He'll just love chasing after my ball.
Carl, how is Scales going to chase the ball?
With his legs.
His legs.
Yeah.
His legs. Carl?
Yeah, that's how chasing the ball works, Cupcake.
Carl, does Scales the snake have legs?
Oh, well, I guess he doesn't.
Do you think that if you want to play with Scales, maybe you should ask him how he wants to play?
Carl blinked at Cupcake and then moved off at a slower pace, deep in thought. Carl was gone for a long time, which gave Cupcake a chance to catch up on her Sudoku, but eventually he came back.
Oh, hey, Carl, how did it go with Scales?
Oh, it was great. I asked Scales what he wanted to play, and he said yes. So I asked him how he wanted to play, and he said there was a sunny spot in the yard that he never gets to visit because it's too far away from him. So he got on my back, and I took him to the yard, and we basked in the sun.
You basked?
Yes, it was the best. It was nice and warm, and I even rolled on my back, and I felt the sun. And on my belly and scales, loved it.
Well, gosh, Carl, I think I might be a little jealous. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, went so well, it gave me another idea. So when I brought Scales back to his terrarium, I stopped by Jeannie's rabbit hutch, and I apologized for my bone, and I asked her what she wanted.
Really? And what did she want?
Clover. Honestly, I tried some. I'm not a fan. But Jeannie liked it, and that was the important thing.
It sounds like you learned something today.
Yeah, when I was a puppy, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do to you, made a lot of sense. And it worked really well when everyone I was with was also a puppy. But now I have a lot of different friends who might need a lot of different things than what I want.
Carl, you've discovered the platinum rule. Do to others as they would have you do to them.
Which means I have to ask them what they would like.
That's right. Now, let's go get some catnip.
Cupcake.
Just kidding, Carl. I'll have catnip. You can have whatever it is dogs like.
The end. And friends, hopefully this story reminds you that everyone that we know has different needs and different preferences and different favorite things that make them happy. And the best way that we show our care for one another, especially in a diverse community like this, is by asking our friends what they need before just assuming, and making sure that the ways we help others are things that actually help them. And that is our story for this morning. So Carl is going to lead you off to your classes, and Cupcake's got to stay here to direct the choir. This is Clementine's.
We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Huntsville, a proudly inclusive spiritual community. Together we build a broader search for meaning, a bolder form of compassion, and a braver voice for justice. At this time, we invite you to support our mission with a monetary contribution. You may donate online using the QR code in your order of service, or you may put cash or check donations in the offering baskets. Completed Circle of Candles cards like these should also be placed in the offering baskets at this time. You're invited to come forward during this time and quietly drop a stone into the bowl of water here near the ramp in honor or memory of what you hold in your heart. With gratitude, we now receive the offering.
Friends, will you join me this morning for our time of meditation, reflection, prayer, however you connect to Spirit and to each other. Let's breathe together in and out. In this community, we have the great joy of holding with one another the prayers, the wishes, the hopes, the joys, the sorrows, the fears, all of it together, held in love, made simpler, made more tolerable, made more joyous by our sharing. This morning I want to share a special summer well wishes to our children and our teachers and anyone who's completed a school year and is about to transition into this next stage. May summer bring you rest and renewal and lots of fun. This morning, we know that as a faith tradition, we celebrate peace, we work for justice and equity, and we mourn the many instances of war that rip apart communities and cause so much pain. And on this Memorial Day weekend, we remember and mourn for those whose lives have been lost in military service. We think of them and their families this day. This morning we lift up in love and care our friend Kaden Anderson as they continue to navigate health challenges. We send them our love and blessings today. We think of those in our community, known and unknown, who struggle with mental health challenges, those who are experiencing depression, anxiety, and all the ways that our brains can cause so much trouble in our lives. We wish you healing and support and therapy and love. This morning, Amber Phelps asks us to hold in sorrow her friend's daughter, Jada, who's 11 years old, who got an infection in her central line port and has to have it removed and have a new one put in. No fun at all, and we wish you well in this procedure and hope the infection goes away soon. In these quiet moments, we connect with that which holds us all: love, presence, gratitude. May we send our care to those who need it. May we celebrate together what is good and hopeful. And may we say together, Amen, blessed be, and sing in response meditation on breathing. It's number 1009 in that teal book if you'd like to look on. We'll sing it together 3 times. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Our reading this morning is a braver, wiser reflection written by Kat Liu called Someone Loved by Someone Else. These are Kat's words written in the first person. Once, while I was in 6th grade, I brought home a quiz in which I had gotten the highest score in the class, a 98%. When I proudly handed the paper to my mother, she asked where the other 2% were. Mom believed that by training her children to aim for perfection, we would be more successful. Academically, her strategy worked. Unfortunately, it also resulted in neurotic offspring who tend to dwell on our failings. Over the years, Kat says, I've learned that many people share these nagging feelings of constantly falling short. Most of us have learned to censor our internalized critic, at least in front of others. One day, however, after I'd gotten myself into a serious jam that required a friend to help me out, my inner critic could no longer be contained. I let loose an unrelenting stream of self-reprobation, ignoring my friend Shelley's repeated attempts to assure me things would be okay. Finally, frustrated, she yelled, "Stop beating up my friend." Taken aback, I stopped, Kat says. And then the words sank in, and I laughed. Her uncharacteristic outburst and choice of words allowed me to see what I otherwise could not. I saw myself not as myself, but as Shelley's friend, someone loved by someone else, and realized that I was being harsher on myself than I ever would be on a friend. If a friend were in my situation, I would have genuinely seen their failings as human and focused instead on how to make things better for them. So why hold someone to an unforgiving standard just because that someone is me? It sounds corny, but in that moment I finally understood that you have to love yourself so that even when friends aren't there to defend you, you can be your own advocate. I'll always have that voice telling me, you could have done better. And that's okay and maybe even beneficial so long as it's not the only voice I hear. Occasionally, when that first voice gets to be too much, I say to myself, stop beating up my friend. And it works. I thank Kat for her words this morning. May they help you. And now I have the privilege to invite forward our choir, including two fabulous soloists this morning, Emma and Tamara. You have the words to our anthem in your order of service if you'd like to read along. It's a sing out love hymn, so it's going to be a real treat for us today. And enjoy I Called on Today.
I called on tomorrow, but no one was there. So I called on today, and the door was flung open. There was dancing and singing and joy in the air.
Our children will travel to worlds far away, but the torch is alight with our hope and thanksgiving. So lift up your voice in the song of today. So I call on today. I call on today.
And I have to follow that? Come on, y'all. Last weekend, I was out of the pulpit because I was celebrating my dear friend, the newly Reverend Karishma Neva Gottfried, as she was ordained into our Unitarian Universalist ministry at the Community Church of New York in Midtown Manhattan. And it was such a joy to see this friend who I've been watching move through the ministerial formation process for years now, finally earn that title of Reverend. And it was a joy, of course, to be in a big, beautiful city surrounded by ministerial colleagues that keep me grounded and support me and help me stay focused on this deep work of ministry that we share together. And of course, it's a joy to get to go to New York City and sample as many pizza and bagels as I possibly could. And flying out of Huntsville early in the morning, the flight attendants gave their perennial reminder, demonstrating the oxygen masks. They reminded us to always put our own oxygen mask on before trying to help someone else. You've heard this reminder, right, friends? Anytime you fly, anytime you see a flight on TV or on a show or a movie, they hold up that strange prop mask and tell you to put it on before helping someone else. And of course, there's a practical reason for this. The nice flight attendants on Delta do not want you to be so preoccupied helping your neighbor or your child that you fail to notice your own oxygen level dipping. They don't want anyone losing consciousness in the event the cabin depressurizes. They don't want the situation to get worse because you were too focused on others to keep yourself safe. But friends, I want to make the argument that there is actually another reason why they remind us of this sort of obvious safety protocol. And that is because we humans struggle to help ourselves. We find it so much easier and more appealing to help others than to help our own selves in these situations. We find it easier to do for someone else, to praise someone else, to forgive someone else. But when it comes to ourselves, suddenly, nope. The inner critic comes out. The I don't deserve it comes out. The shame, the imposter syndrome, the procrastination spiral, it all comes out to play. It's harder for us to help ourselves than it is for us to help someone else. Anyone here ever feel that way before? Does this feel familiar? I'm seeing some hands, right? This isn't news. We struggle to help ourselves because our problems have the weight of our own emotions tied to them. The cleaning tasks in our home, organizing, sorting through clutter, taking care of the projects that have sat unfinished. It's not hard because the task is hard. It's hard because the undone dishes in the sink trigger the voice of the parent or the roommate or the partner that put us down for not getting them done fast enough, right? the pile of clutter waiting to be sorted isn't just stuff. It's memories. It's the program from your friend's coworker's memorial service, stacked on the bills yet to be paid, laid next to that beautiful TBR book pile that the library has just reminded you is in fact overdue. Finding a home for the program or choosing to recycle it isn't hard in itself, but the action brings back the feelings, the grief, the sadness. The discrete task of logging into that online portal or writing the check to the utility company isn't hard. But the worry about how much money might be left in that account, the shame that you let it go too long and now it's past due and now you have to face the late fees, the presence of one more thing in our already full and fraught lives, well, that can stop us in our tracks. That's why packing and moving from house to house is kind of a bear of a task when you have to do it for yourself that can bring you within an inch of your sanity. But helping a friend move is more like a pizza party with a workout beforehand, right? Our physical stuff has our emotional stuff baked into it. And that emotional stuff is what's hard to face. And we struggle to help ourselves because when we're in the mud of our own problems, it can be tough to imagine creative solutions, new ways out, different ways of looking at things. A few years ago, I was offering some pre-marriage counseling to a couple, and they were on such a great track already, happy and compassionate, and they'd done so much of that deep relationship work, examining the things that trigger them, working to compromise so that they could build a partnership that worked for both of them. And still, from inside their relationship, there were things they could not see or imagine or figure out on their own. There were patterns put there by their parents or previous partners or lessons from the lives they'd led that were baked in and entrenched. But for me, on the outside, it was so clear what was going on, because I wasn't in that stuff. Of course, having a strict, buttoned-up, boundary-filled job in a stressful, fast-paced work environment made it hard to come home and immediately be fun and flirty and relaxed, right? Of course, the gendered expectations of who does what when it comes to domestic care tasks, cooking and cleaning, was hard to shake even in the queerness and equality of their partnership. Of course, the worries about the relative needing caretaking was hard to shake off on that quick commute home. From the inside of their relationship, it was stressful and emotional and anxiety ran high, but on the outside, simple, understandable, explainable. When we get bogged down in the mud of our challenges and our relationships, it can be tough to find our way out. We need an outside perspective, something to help us see a little bit more clearly. And friends, we struggle to help ourselves because anxiety and fear and shame work so well at keeping us stuck. Friends, it is vulnerable to share when we aren't good at something, when we've gotten behind and feel like we can't claw our way back out, when we've let something that was a small problem that would have taken 5 minutes to deal with a year ago has now grown and become a big problem. And vulnerability can naturally make us anxious, but we do not have to stay anxious. My colleague, the Reverend Sarah Goodman, writes, "Did you know that the antidote to anxiety is curiosity?" It is. The opposite of anxiety is curiosity, she promises us. When we ask new questions, when we shift from worrying about what has gone wrong or what could go wrong to believing that it is possible for things to go right, when we look for new ways or new windows in, that anxiety can start to fade away. And friends, here is the good news. We are not on an airplane, and there are no masks dropping from the ceiling this morning. We are not alone in the world. We are not in a relationship in a bubble. We are members of a community. Of course, we have to help ourselves, and sometimes we have to help ourselves first, but we do not have to go it alone. We can and should and must be open to the love and support around us and available to us. As Unitarian Universalists, we center our faith on the value of generosity, which means that we know that we have something to offer and you have something to offer, and it is our responsibility to offer it freely, lovingly, without shame. And in that generosity, we would be wise to follow the good counsel of Carl and Cupcake, the creatures in our story for all ages this morning, that learned how important it is to help others in ways that actually help them, that meet their needs. But with that rule in mind, we can get curious about creating a web of mutuality and community care that makes it possible for each of us to ask for help when we need it and offer help when we're able. Friends, who among us has not had the opportunity to help someone else in a real way? I suspect all of us have had that chance to be a helper in one way or another. And I think it's wise that we remember and share those ways. I invite you to either turn to a neighbor nearby or meditate in your own heart, depending on what suits you in this moment on this day, and share without fear of seeming braggy or boastful about a time where you truly helped someone else and made a difference in their life. Do you have a story like that? Let's take a moment to share with one another now. And friends, who among us has not been helped, been met in their own need by someone in the larger community? Who has not had a time where they could not have gone it alone and someone showed up? You can turn to that same neighbor or a different neighbor or back to your own heart and share once more a time when someone helped you in a way that changed your day or your life. Please share once more. it is true. It is true that each of us have helped someone else, and each of us have been helped in return. Now, I invite you to turn toward that little green card that was in your order of service. There's a small chance it fell out on the walk-in. I'm seeing a few on the floor, so if that's you, Nancy is going to bring you a couple in case you want one. This is a very simple little green card. On the front, it says, "I need," and on the back, it has an opportunity to write your email address. If you're willing, if you're feeling brave, if you're ready to let go of the shame we've been taught about needing help from other people, if you're ready to choose curiosity and generosity instead of anxiety, I invite you to fill out this card and share what you need. I need a home-cooked meal. I need 2 hours of childcare so I can have coffee with a friend and feel like a human being again. I need someone to patiently teach me how to use XYZ technology so I can feel more connected to the world. I need someone to co-work with me or body double me so I can finally get that office space cleaned out and put back together or finish that house project. I need someone to come and visit and listen to me because I am lonely. I need someone to teach me something basic, like how to make spaghetti or renew my license plate tag or use a mop, something I feel like I should have already known how to do, but no one ever taught me before. I need. What do you need? Fill out the card, put your email on the back, and at the end of the service, we're going to drop them into this here fishbowl situation right here. And then the other half of this is maybe today, maybe in the next few weeks, as you're here at church, stop by the bowl, grab a card. You might have to search through a couple to find something you feel capable and ready to offer, and send that person an email. Let them know that you're ready to help. Make a way to share the gifts that we have in this community together. The goal, friends, is simple. We want to be a community so loving and so connected that we know each other's needs and we meet them with joy. And we want to be a people so honest and so released from shame and self-doubt and that nagging inner critic that we speak our needs for help bravely. And we want to be a people so empathetic and so generous that we hear our neighbors' needs as invitations to serve. May we become this kind of people together. Blessed be, and amen. And now, I told you it was going to be fun in here today. So now, I invite you once more to rise in body or spirit and sing with me our closing hymn. It's called "This Boat," and Lori's going to share how we're going to sing it together.
So you have the lyrics in your bulletin there, and it's just the words for the refrain. And each time you sing it, I'll give you a big sign so you know to sing. We'll start out by singing the refrain through twice, and then there's a verse and another refrain and a verse and another refrain, and we'll see if we get to the end if we want to sing that refrain a couple times before we finish the service today. So enjoy.
This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. One more time. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, come aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore.
We all know hardship, we all know pain, but nothing ventured means nothing gained, and every
aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. Even if you've been tempest-tossed, even if you feel that all is lost, you've heard the thunder roar, had a look at heaven's door. If you're sinking like a stone, this boat will carry you home. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, grab an oar. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the final shore. This boat is ready, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore.
Thank you for your lovely singing.
Let us now take a moment to extinguish our chalice with these words by Craig Rowland. As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise that you deserve a place where your voice matters, where your laughter is treasured, and your silence is honored. You deserve a circle that sees your scars and your strength, your doubts and your radiance, and holds them all with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, and radical hope. Go knowing you belong here. You always have.
What Cam said. Friends, our worship service now comes to a close. I will be at the back of the sanctuary to greet you, and all are welcome to head to Fellowship Hall for coffee and conversation. Take a moment to place something in the fishbowl if you're willing to this morning, and take some time to look in there and see if there's a way that you can be of help and service to a neighbor. Go forth, friends, in love. Work for peace, do kindness to your neighbors, be good to one another until we are together again. Blessed be and amen, and we'll go out singing, May I Be Light in You. It's on the yellow card. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.